The observation pod hummed quietly as it maintained its geosynchronous orbit above Earth's northern hemisphere. Inside, Kievan adjusted the neural interface wrapped around his elongated skull, his three-fingered hands moving with practiced precision across the holographic display. The bioluminescent patterns on his skin pulsed a soft amber, a sign of deep concentration among his species, the Vorath. Subject 7 Alpha is approaching the designated location, he murmured into the recording device, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into standard galactic common. Emotional baseline reads as elevated anticipation, curious. On the screen before him, a human female named Jennifer Chen walked briskly down a rain-slicked street in Seattle. She wore a dark jacket, her breath visible in the October air. Kievan had been observing her for 3 weeks as part of his anthropological thesis, Paradoxical Pleasure Responses in Homo sapiens, a neurological analysis. Jennifer stopped before a building with a flickering neon sign. Fright Fest Extreme Haunt, are you brave enough? Kievan's skin shifted to confused violet. He had watched Jennifer all month, a sensible tax attorney who donated to animal shelters and helped elderly neighbors with groceries. Yet here she was, paying currency to enter a facility specifically designed to terrify her. Subject is voluntarily entering a fear simulation environment, he recorded, paying 47.5 in local currency for the experience. This researcher remains baffled. Through his advanced sensors, Kievan monitored Jennifer's vitals as she signed a waiver and entered the darkened corridor. Her heart rate climbed from 72 to 95 beats per minute. Cortisol levels rose. Her pupils dilated. By every Vorathi standard, she was entering a threat state. Yet her facial expression registered as smiling. Jennifer knew she was being irrational, but she didn't care. The work week had been brutal, hostile depositions, a partner breathing down her neck about billable hours, her mother's endless questions about why she was still single at 32. She needed this. The first jump scare got her, a pneumatic skeleton that shot from the wall with a metallic shriek. She yelped, then laughed, adrenaline flooding her system like the world's best drug. "Oh, you bastards," she muttered appreciatively, moving deeper into the manufactured nightmare. In orbit, Kievan's confusion deepened to near-existential crisis. His skin flashed chaotic patterns of violet, orange, and confused green. Subject's amygdala shows extreme activation, he narrated, pulling up the neural scan. Fear response is genuine. This is not simulation or performance. Yet dopamine and endorphin production are astronomical. The human appears to be deriving pleasure from a neurologically authentic terror state. He had spent 6 Earth months studying human entertainment, and each discovery had been more perplexing than the last. Humans watched fictional murders for relaxation. They read stories about apocalypses before sleep. They created elaborate games where failure meant the simulated death of their avatar, then played for hours. His thesis advisor, the esteemed Professor Xantha, had warned him, humans are the galaxy's most successful persistence predators and its most creative storytellers. These traits combine in unusual ways. Kievan had thought he understood. He'd been wrong. Jennifer emerged from the haunt 43 minutes later, makeup smeared, hair disheveled, and grinning like she'd won a prize. Her cortisol was still elevated, but her serotonin levels were higher than they'd been all week. "That was amazing," she told the bored teenager at the exit. "The part with the chainsaw guy in the hospital room, chef's kiss." Kievan made a note. Subject appears to rate the intensity of fear stimuli as a positive quality metric. Requires further investigation. 3 days later, Kievan materialized in human form on a park bench near Jennifer's morning running route. His holographic disguise was perfect. A tall man in his 30s with dark hair and an unremarkable face. The Vorath had been visiting Earth covertly for decades. They'd mastered the art of looking forgettable. "Mind if I sit?" he asked as Jennifer finished her stretches. She glanced up, startled but not alarmed. "It's a public bench." I couldn't help but notice your shirt, Kievan said, gesturing to her marathon tee from the Zombie Run 5K. You enjoy horror-themed entertainment. Jennifer's face lit up, exactly the response he'd hoped for. Humans loved discussing their interests with minimal prompting. Oh my God, yes, she said. I just went to Fright Fest on Saturday. Have you been? I have not, Kievan said honestly. I confess I don't understand the appeal. Why would someone pay to be frightened? Jennifer sat down on the bench, clearly ready to explain. Kievan activated his hidden recording device. It's like, she paused, searching for words. It's a safe way to feel something intense. My life is spreadsheets and conference calls. Everything is controlled, predictable, beige. But in a haunted house or watching a horror movie, I get to feel genuine terror. But I know intellectually that I'm safe. It's this weird contradiction, and my brain lights up like a Christmas tree. But the fear is real, Kievan pressed. Your body cannot distinguish the threat level. Exactly, that's what makes it great. My body thinks I'm about to be murdered, but my mind knows I'm just in a warehouse in Seattle. I get all the adrenaline, all the excitement, with none of the actual danger. It's like extreme sports for anxious people. Kievan's disguised face remained neutral, but inside his actual body, orbiting miles above, his skin was strobing confused patterns. And the enjoyment of narratives depicting suffering, horror films. Jennifer leaned back, thoughtful. That's different but related. There's catharsis in it, you know. Watching characters face existential dread, cosmic horror, death. It helps me process my own fears about mortality and meaninglessness. Plus, there's the puzzle aspect. Good horror makes you think, what would I do? How would I survive? It's problem-solving under pressure. And the communal aspect. Kievan had observed humans watching horror films in groups, screaming together. Oh, that's the best part, Jennifer grinned. Shared fear creates bonding. It's why people have been telling scary stories around campfires since forever. When you survive something scary together, even pretend scary, you feel closer. It's tribal. Kievan processed this. The Vorath had eliminated fear 15,000 years ago through genetic modification. They'd considered it an evolutionary vestige, a limitation to transcend. Yet humans had turned their fear response into art, entertainment, social bonding. Fascinating, he murmured. Jennifer checked her watch. I should run. But hey, if you want to understand horror, you should actually experience it. Fright Fest is open through Halloween. After she jogged away, Kievan sat for a long moment, thinking. That evening, Kievan stood in line at Fright Fest in his human disguise, his actual body in orbit, monitoring every sensation through the holographic link. This is foolish, he told himself. Unscientific. I'm allowing subject bias to influence methodology. But he'd spent months observing from a distance. Maybe Jennifer was right. Maybe he needed to experience it. The haunt was everything his senses had indicated. Loud, chaotic, designed to trigger mammalian fear responses. Actors in grotesque makeup lunged from darkness. Strobe lights disoriented. Sound design created auditory hallucinations of pursuit. And Kievan, despite knowing intellectually that every element was theatrical, felt something he'd only read about in evolutionary biology texts. Fear. His human disguise heart hammered. His palms sweat. When a chainsaw-wielding actor cornered him in a narrow hallway, every fiber of his being screamed to flee. But underneath the terror, something else emerged. A thrill. A sense of being vibrantly, intensely alive. His consciousness sharpened, focused entirely on the present moment. There was no room for worries about his thesis deadline or the politics of the Vorathi Council or whether he'd ever find a mate bond. There was only now, only survival, only the primal joy of his body systems functioning exactly as evolution designed. When he emerged, his human form hands trembling, Kievan finally understood. 6 months later, Kievan presented his thesis to the Vorathi Academy of Xenoanthropology. His skin shifted through confident gold patterns as he concluded. Humans have not transcended their fear response because they have weaponized it. They have transformed a survival mechanism into a tool for psychological resilience, social bonding, and existential exploration. Where we eliminated fear through genetics, they have domesticated it through culture. Their horror entertainment serves multiple functions. It provides safe exposure to mortality, allowing processing of death anxiety without trauma. It creates shared experiences that strengthen social bonds. It offers agency and problem-solving opportunities in controlled crisis scenarios. And perhaps most importantly, it provides intensity and presence in lives that modern civilization has rendered artificially safe. Humans do not find joy in the horrific. They find joy in their own capacity to face the horrific and endure. Every scream in a theater, every thrill in a haunted house is a small celebration of survival. They are practicing for catastrophes they hope never come, building psychological resilience through simulation. It is not paradoxical. It is deeply, essentially human. The assembled academics pulsed approval in synchronized emerald waves. Later, alone in his quarters, Kevin pulled up a message from Earth. Jennifer had somehow found his contact information. He suspected she'd never fully believed his Canadian tourist story and sent a simple text. Fright Fest misses you. Come back anytime, Jay. Kevan's skin shifted to warm amber, contentment, as he began planning his return to Earth. There was still so much to learn about these strange, fear-loving, utterly remarkable creatures. And besides, he thought, October was coming again.